Hey, what's going on guys? It's ETA Prime back here again. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know I do a lot of reviews on these Bluetooth Android controllers, and a lot of them do work great. But today we're going to be taking a look at a new offering from Razer that doesn't use Bluetooth. It actually connects to your phone over USB Type-C, and on paper this looks like it could be one of the best mobile controllers on the market right now. This is known as the Razer Kishi, and it comes in at about $80. Yes, it's very expensive. All of these Razer mobile controllers are expensive. But if you're looking for ultra low latency for emulation or your native Android games, the Razer Kishi could be the best option out there right now. So real quick, this isn't compatible with every single Android device on the market. Obviously, you need USB Type-C. You have to be running Android 8 or higher. And on their website, they list the Galaxy series from the S8 all the way up to the Note 10 Plus, the Google Pixel 2 all the way up to the 4 XL, but it actually looks like you have to contact customer support to get the grip inserts for the Razer Phone 1 and 2. Now these are the officially supported Android devices that they have listed on their website, but this will work with a ton of other Android phones on the market. Now Razer also recently released the Jungle Cat. I did a full review on it, but unfortunately it only fits basically 3 different phones because you have these middle inserts here. The Note 9, the Galaxy S10 Plus, and the Razer phone. Personally, I really like this controller, but it was very limited on what you could hook up. I mean, as you can see here, you have this little insert here. It's kind of a case for your phone, and on the ends, you can slide the controllers right into it. It does connect over Bluetooth, but overall, it works well if you have one of the 3 supported devices. Now that all changed with the release of the Kishi. I'm really excited about this. This was actually announced at CES, and I finally got my hands on it. Let's go ahead and get it out of the box here. I have watched a couple videos on this before I received mine, and overall I do like the design of it, but it does look like some phones are still going to struggle to fit inside of here. It doesn't have an internal battery because it connects to your phone over USB Type-C, but it does have pass-through charging, so you can charge your phone while it's in the controller itself. And that's why the only thing you're going to get in the box is the controller and a user manual. There is no charger or USB cable. So the design of the controller does look a little funky. We got a weird looking D-pad here. It actually feels pretty good. We have dual analog sticks, A, B, X, Y. We have a play button, home button, and a back button for Android. And on the top here, we have 4 trigger buttons, L1, L2, R1, and R2. So we have plenty of buttons to play any of our favorite native Android games, emulators, and it also supports streaming services like Stadia, xCloud, Steam Link, and Geforce Now. As the controller sits right now, it's actually in the closed position, but this is what's known as a telescopic or a stretchy controller. We can unlock it from the back, and this is how we're going to fit our phone right in the middle. There's actually no support on the controller itself for the 2 halves, so the phone you use will work as, let's say, the backbone here to keep everything stable. So obviously with something like this, a lot of people will be using gaming phones with it. Unfortunately, the Asus ROG Phone 2 will not fit because the USB Type-C is offset on the bottom, but I did want to test some phones that weren't listed on their website, like the Red Magic 5G. This does fit along with the Red Magic 3 and pretty much all of the other Red Magic phones that contain a USB Type-C port. It's actually super easy to set this up, and they do offer the Kishi app on the Google Play Store, but I really only use that for updating firmware. But once you have the controller plugged into the USB Type-C port on your phone, it's going to register as a USB controller. And since the controller is using X input, you can navigate the full Android operating system just like you would with an Xbox 360 or an Xbox One controller. Setup is super simple. You're just going to plug your phone into the USB Type-C port over here, and then we're going to kind of stretch the other side over. And the first thing I recommend doing is going to the Google Play Store and downloading the dedicated Razer Kishi app. It's going to allow you to update the firmware, and this is something you definitely want to do. You're just going to choose the little icon in the top left-hand corner. And right here, you can check for a firmware update. I've already updated mine. It'll give you a quick little easy walkthrough, and it updates in seconds. Unfortunately, at the time of making this video, the dedicated app does not allow you to customize any of the controller binds, and that's a big letdown. Hopefully they change that in the future, but you never know. But it does have a discovery section with games listed that 100% work with this controller. And this one actually came as a big surprise to me, but Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG Mobile, 2 of the biggest mobile games right now, do not work with this controller. They have proprietary drivers for the Xbox 360, Xbox One, and the PS4 controller, and this one here is not detected. Yes, you could always use a controller mapper if you really want to, but I was kind of expecting this to work out of the box with those 2 popular games. Alright, so I have the Red Magic 5G plugged in. I just wanted to test this pass-through charging. Make sure that works. Go with the USB Type-C here, and there we go. So yes, it can charge while your phone's plugged in over USB Type-C. Next thing I wanted to test was just the button layout here. I did a full update on the controller itself. Everything seems to be functioning perfectly fine here. And one thing I actually wasn't expecting was the rear triggers to be pressure sensitive. So L2 and R2 are pressure sensitive triggers. It's going to be great for racing games. As you can see here, I just press a little bit on it and they're pretty accurate. So let's move over to some games. First one we have here is Grid Auto Sport. This is the port for Android. It's about $11 on the Google Play Store. And if you have a phone that will support it, I definitely recommend it. It's awesome on a mobile device, especially with this controller here. So I just wanted to check those pressure sensitive triggers out. And you can adjust this in the settings for Grid Auto Sport. They're working pretty decent here. I'm sure I could set the sensitivity a little lower, but it's working pretty good here, and this would be perfect for drifting. You just need to give a little bit of gas. You can do it with a controller like this. And obviously this game does support controllers right out of the box. There was no setup required whatsoever. Here's Minecraft Pocket Edition. I always throw this in because it does support controllers right out of the box, and it works fine with it. I mean, this is a great little Android controller for native Android games, but like I mentioned, this isn't working right now with PUBG or Call of Duty Mobile. They have it just set up so you have to use an Xbox or a PS4 controller. Now this controller does work with all the major streaming services, xCloud, which I have here running Forza Horizon 4, and when your connection is good, unlike mine right now, everything works great. It also works with Steam Link, Stadia, and Geforce Now. Now, one of my main use case scenarios for a controller like this would be emulation. Yes, this does work with Retroarch, so we have tons of different systems covered there. Works with Redream. I did have to do a little bit of calibration here. And it also works with the Dolphin emulator. Basically, this controller will support your emulator as long as the emulator supports a controller. So I wanted to test this with some Android phones they don't have listed on their website. We have the Motorola G Fast, the Samsung Galaxy A10e, the Essential Phone PH1, the Red Magic 3, the Red Magic 3S, the Red Magic 5G, the Poco F2 Pro, the Redmi Note 9 Pro, and the Redmi Note 8 Pro. And the controller worked perfectly fine with all of these phones. The only phone I have with USB Type-C that was not supported is the Asus ROG Phone 2, and that's because it has that offset USB Type-C connector. But in the end, I gotta say this is one of the best mobile controllers that I've ever tested for any Android device, and I've tested a lot. I'm personally used to using Bluetooth, so I kind of compensate for the lag with emulation and gaming. It's never really bothered me before, but it's going to be hard to go back to Bluetooth after using something like this with virtually no input latency whatsoever. So yes, I could definitely recommend this controller if you're into mobile emulation, mobile gaming, or even mobile cloud streaming. This is just a great controller choice. But that's pretty much it for this video. I really appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And if you're interested in picking one of these up, I'll leave a few links in the description. But like always, thanks for watching.